So, hi and welcome to Quality Health Finder, a conversation with. So, today I'm joined by Saira, who's a nutritionist and works in private practice. So, Saira, hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. Yeah, I wanted to start with your backstory because I thought it was quite interesting. You were previously a dancer and a performer at Eurovision and O2.
Yeah, so I did grow up dancing and performing, doing different shows and competitions and things like that, which was really exciting. It was like one of the highlights of my childhood, which was amazing.
Oh,
So I tried like a few different sports, but that was
mm,
always the hobby that I enjoyed the most. I kept that up all up to, or even during uni actually. And there was a point where I had to kind of decide if I wanted to take that as a full time career or go through the more sort of academic route. So there were a lot of big decisions to make when you're quite a
mm.
young age. And obviously, you then discuss with your parents and other people around you. So yeah, I did kind of have to make that choice, and then I ended up sticking with, sciences and nutrition.
Okay, so what made you make that transition then from performing to nutrition?
Yeah, I think for the first time I actually came across proper nutrition was at GCSE. I was very lucky. My school offered food and nutrition as a GCSE subject, which was really interesting. So obviously the cooking was good fun, but it was the first time I'd learned more about the theory side of nutrition. So we learned a lot more about the different nutrients and the digestive system and food processing, more depth and also more range than you would in a normal science lesson.
Mm,
So that is where I first came across nutrition and I enjoyed it so much. Like, it was one of my highest scoring GCSEs. And then obviously then going into A levels, things get a lot more busy with schoolwork. So I kind of cut down the after school dancing a little bit because it was quite difficult to manage both to a high standard. And also the dance industry is a really tough
yeah.
industry. You know, you never know when your next job's going to be most of the time. So I felt it was a bit kind of, it had a lot of uncertainty,
Mm,
and I felt that I still wanted to go to university, which you can still do with performing. Obviously, it's a whole different kind of experience. And also, it's quite difficult when you're competing with people that are already dancing like 25 hours a week. They're already in full time dance school, whereas I
mm,
wasn't. So I kind of knew that I was going to be up, in a lot of competition. So it was going to be that much more difficult. So I thought I'll stick with the academic route, but it's one of those things I can pick up at any time, as a hobby. So that's kind of where I decided.
transition from dance to
Yeah,
nutrition. And so,
yeah.
what would you like people to kind of take away from today in understanding what your job actually entails?
Yeah, that's a really good question because a lot of people, or I get a lot of people that come to me and they ask for diet plans. Very common,
Yes, I was going to come
which
to the
are,
diet thing. Yes.
to understand, that would be easy. Someone just tells you what to eat every day and you'll lose weight or you'll be healthy forever. But obviously we know it's a lot more than that. So something I wish people knew was there's so much more behind just telling people what to eat.
Mm,
It's, about you making the choices rather than me telling you what to choose. Obviously, I advise, I give meal suggestions, snack ideas, and I teach you about, how to read food labels and provide all the tools and education. And I can coach, on the mental side as well around like relationship with food and food mindset. But I want my clients to feel empowered to then make the changes themselves and make choices
mm,
themselves because obviously they're not going to be with me forever. So they need
mm.
to leave feeling that they can do it on their own.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, I'll always be there to support, but I wish that people knew it's more than just tell me what to eat every day.
So it's more than the Atkins diet.
Oh, yeah.
And I've actually, over the years, become accustomed to reading the labels because for a long time it was, well, it says it's low sugar, so it must be, or, no added salt. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's interesting because food labels can be very confusing. Even I've come across labels that trying to compare things, and even I can get confused. So that's completely relatable even to myself. So I think the thing when you see nutrition claims and health claims, like you said, no added sugar or low fat or one of your five a day, they are
Mhm.
always true because you can't put something on a label that's not. So it would have been reviewed by experts and it will be valid. But at the end of the day, in terms of like the marketing and manufacture side of things, they want to just sell their product. So they will highlight the benefits in like big writing or different colors or bold fonts. So we
Right.
see, okay, low fat, yeah, I'll pick that up. But then when you look at the label, they might have added other things like more sugar to
Mm.
make sure that it still tastes nice.
Yes.
So yes, it's low fat, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's still a healthy product,
Okay.
which is misleading, unfortunately.
Yes, indeed. And so with regards to the patients that you do see, like what's your favorite type of patient that would come in and see you and you think, "Oh, yes, we're gonna do something here."
So somebody who is overweight or obese, they've tried loads of diets in the past, they might work initially, then they end up putting on weight again and they're just stuck in that diet cycle. They want to have more energy, they want to improve their confidence, their self-esteem. So just someone that's really fed up of diets, they just tired all the time. Some people like they don't even want to go out because they don't feel comfortable in their body or they're self-conscious that people are looking at them and they just want to feel better, like physically and mentally. That I would say is my ideal client. Yeah, and that's probably kind of the people that approach me the most.
So that must be quite rewarding for you then when you do have a patient like that that comes in. It must feel like, yes, so that's kind of the excitement of then why you work as a clinician and you do what you do.
Yeah, definitely. And even when we have that complimentary discovery call, I can start getting ideas in my head, like as they're talking. They can probably hear in my voice as well that like I can have that passion that like I'm ready to help them, which yeah, it feels exciting as a practitioner.
Lovely. And so, what's some of the challenges that you faced as a clinician?
So oh, there's many. I think there's so much nutrition misinformation out there, and that's a big challenge for practitioners like myself that are registered with a professional body. We follow
Mm.
the clinical guidelines that we're supposed to, and we have the set policies that we follow. So when we see people online posting videos about nutrition that's not necessarily correct or it's out of context, it can actually be quite frustrating. And it's sad for the public, and in some ways, it could be dangerous as well. And then
Mm.
we get clients coming to us saying, "Well, but I saw this video and it said this, and then I read this article and it said that I should eat this and then I'll lose weight." And it's a shame because they're obviously trying to look for information and then they're coming across these videos. And nowadays, anyone can post anything online. They might even
Yes.
call themselves a nutritionist and they're not. So that's a big challenge. And I spend a lot of time dispelling myths. So that's a big thing. I think on a more personal level, I think as a clinician as well, you get all kinds of different people. Some people are more open to your approach to nutrition or the way that you think, and you get some that are it's like they have a mental barrier to weight loss or to making changes. Like they come to sessions but they're not as open. So it just takes, and it doesn't mean I can't work with them, it just takes a bit more work. So exploring their barriers further, why they have this barrier, and then going into, they've obviously come for a reason. So there must be something in them that does want to change, but they're just stuck like, I have this condition, so I can't lose weight, or I don't have time.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge that it can be worked around, but it just takes a little bit longer.
It does take longer, and I know when I was practicing as a podiatrist, it was about, um, offering that holistic package, which in the private sector, there can sometimes be a bit more space to do. So, um, for sure is taking the time to build the patient's trust, um, and that can take a moment.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And that's why I always offer everyone a free call before they book me, because I feel like if you're going to be working with someone, whether it's a nutritionist or a physio or anything, I think it is good to have that chat before. Because even for myself, I'd probably be the same. Like, I want to meet them, I want to hear what they sound like, how they talk. And also, you sometimes you get that initial rapport that
Mm,
you just know, yeah, I can work with them. Or you might feel, as a client, you might feel, actually, I don't think that we click, or I don't feel that we'd get on. So sometimes you just need that natural bond with the practitioner that you're choosing. So, and I think that's completely fair. If people don't pick me, it's got to be right for them at the end of the day.
yeah, no, that's fair. And for somebody listening now, um, what signs would they be experiencing in their life now that they would think, "I do need to seek support"?
So if they've noticed they've gained a lot of weight recently, or they are already kind of overweight or obese and they've struggled to lose weight and it's having an impact on their life as well. Like, I've seen people that they're struggling to run around with their children, or they don't feel confident to go out with their friends. So it's stopping them from living the life they want to live. And then you might have other signs and symptoms, like, from a health perspective, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, issues with your diabetes control, or even just things like really low energy, feeling
Mm,
tired. And then you have the behavior side. I don't know what to cook. I don't have time to cook. I go to sleep really late. Then I end up snacking, or I wake up in the night and I'm hungry. I work through my lunch break. So people that don't have a good eating routine,
mm.
um, and they kind of just feel a bit lost with it, and because it can be overwhelming to think about what you're going to eat every day, for any person. So yeah, those would be the main things to look out for and seek support.
And step forward. So, how long have you been practicing now for, Sarah?
So I've been a nutritionist nearly 4.5 years now. And then before that, I studied nutrition for 4 years at King's College London University.
A lot of experience there.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that, because I get a lot of, "Oh, you look quite young," or "You're quite young," and I feel like
Mm,
that can sometimes be a barrier to people either approaching me, or even after having the discovery call, going through with it. So it's interesting you actually feel like I've had a lot of experience, which I know I have,
yeah,
but sometimes people want someone that's had maybe 20 years, 30 years experience, and I don't necessarily think one is better or worse than the other. I think it's down to both individuals and the approach that they take.
no, absolutely. I completely agree with you. Um, and I'd say 8 years is a decent amount of experience.
Yeah.
And certainly sometimes you may find that, if that person isn't ready, then any reason would be a good reason for them to not go
Mm.
forward. So, um, just wanted to touch on visibility for you. So, I mean, you run workshops, you do one-to-ones, you do webinars. So why does visibility matter to you?
I think it's really important that clients can find professionals that are reliable, trustworthy, and know what they're doing. Because, like we said earlier, and you've mentioned before, people can call themselves professionals and they're not. So I think, just to help from the client's perspective, to
Yeah.
have a platform like yourselves where they can go on there in confidence, knowing that these practitioners, like myself, have all been checked, they're all registered with professional bodies, they've all got insurance, they have to follow certain guidelines, and they don't have to worry about that side of things.
Mm.
So I think it's important to have platforms like yourself, and get clinicians like me out there, so that we can be recognized and actually help the public to find that reliable, helpful information that they're looking for.
Yeah, no, thank you for now becoming a part of the Quality Health Finder community. It's really appreciated. So we're inviting UK clinicians that are registered to join our platform ahead of public launch. So what I mean, you kind of touched on it already with regards to the reason why you joined, I suppose. But it's lovely that you did understand the mission behind it, because it is so important for clinicians to be findable and for patients to find a safe place to search for care.
Yeah, I agree. And I think when you were talking about the holistic approach as well, which I use in my practice, you obviously take on different types of practitioners, which is really useful as well. Because often, in my case with weight loss, they don't just need me. A lot of my clients also need physio because they tend to have a lot of back pain and joint pain.
Yes.
They often need mental health support. So again, this just makes it easier for them when it's all in one space and they know they're all qualified to do what they need to do. And it's good for us to meet other practitioners in the health and wellbeing industry.
Indeed. Indeed it is. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for your time. And how can people reach you if they want to?
So my website is sairanutrition.co.uk. So Saira. And that's the same for Instagram and Facebook, Saira Nutrition. And you can also email me info@sairanutrition.co.uk.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I'll make sure I drop those links. Thank you. And please, people, like and subscribe, and we'll be sharing more information with other healthcare professionals very soon.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me.